everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to Flossmas Day 5. This is going to be a slightly longer video because I'm going to show what I worked on yesterday, but then I'm also going to talk a little bit about my plans for 2024 because I have been trying to figure out what I want to do next year because I've seen a lot of videos. There's videos coming out everywhere now of whip parades, plans, and so I've just been thinking about that more now. Anyways, I will start off with my Advent ornament, which is called Holiday Treats from thathowtogirl on Etsy, and I did another brown. So there are now 2 browns and 2 blues, and that is all that's done so far, so you still cannot really tell what it is, but it's fun to do this every day because it doesn't take a lot of time, but you know that at the end of the month you are going to have an ornament, so I like the fact that I know that at the end of the month this will be done. This is being stitched on a mystery fabric from my Christmas mystery box from thesewingshop.ca, and I'm stitching it 2/1 full cross. The next project that I will show is I worked again on the 12 Movie Nights of Christmas stitch along from Atomic Tiki Pins on Etsy because it's the last couple weeks of school before Christmas break, so I am still doing my car stitching, which I realized that there are only 9 more days of actual school that my kids have, so I only have 9 more car stitching days for the year before it is winter break. So I was just like, that's crazy. And here's where I got to on this chart. I worked on filling in another one of the border colors, so I think it was the color 900, which is an orangey red, and so I filled it in up along here, down here, and then also over this way, and then now I need to bring the color down and then keep going around. So that is what I will be working on today when I pick up my kids, which it's been so cold. Okay, it's not that cold, but when you're sitting in the car trying to cross stitch and your hands start to get cold, it's not very pleasant. I am stitching this on 18 count fabric that I dyed myself, 2/1 full cross. And then I also worked on the chart Christmas 2, which is by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I think it was 500-ish stitches on this chart, and here is where it is right now. I was working on filling in the black, and then I also did more of the dark green color, which is 890, so it's a really dark green. And I am trying to start working down the page because this is the edge of the page over here, and now I want to find the bottom of the page so that this month I can try and get the page filled in fully, hopefully. And so that's what I did. And this is being stitched on 32 count 1/1 tent stitch, which is a half stitch. And then the last project I worked on was Autumn Harmony, which was my Advent pull from yesterday. And I was originally going to work on her arm, and then I was like, I would rather stitch somewhere that's more colorful, so I decided I would start working around her head. So I filled in some of the colors here, but then most of the colors here worked their way up, so I ended up filling in a little bit around her face, but then also working up a lot of the time and just try to get as much as I could done. I ended up getting 500 stitches done on her, which means that she is ending the year at 45,500 stitches. And I'm really excited, but now it is kind of sad because it means she won't be pulled out. I could technically pull her out after Christmas because my Flossmas is only going until December 25th, and then I will have that last week of the year to kind of do whatever I want. But she will now, for real, be put away for a little bit. She is being stitched on 18 count 2/1 full cross. And then I will pick my chart for today, which today is day 5. So day 5, we will pull out and see. It is the chart Sanctuary, which is from Charting Creations, and I will go and grab that chart right now. And here is Sanctuary, and I'm excited to work on this chart just because this chart has a lot of colors, and obviously the Christmas chart that I've been working on from Heaven and Earth Designs has a lot of dark colors, so I'm excited to work with some brighter colors because the weather outside has been really dark and gray, so I would really like something that is very bright and colorful to kind of, add some color to my life right now because it's really dark. And this is being stitched on a 28 count 2/1 tent stitch. So that is what I will be working on today. And now we'll talk a little bit about my plans for 2024. So my plans for 2024, I'm trying to do something different from last year. Last year, I had set goals for my projects I had some that were just finish the project. I had some goals where it was like finish a page, finish diagonals, things like that. And then I also had goals where it was work on this chart for 2 days in this month. And I realized that the goals that I met most of was if I wanted to finish a project, I met almost all of my finished goals. And if I had set the project to just be stitched on for a couple days a month, I met all of those goals. I ended up not really paying attention to the other goals of like, you know, finish this color in the chart or finish the diagonal, finish the page. I kind of ignored those and focused on the finishes, and I prioritized the charts that were assigned days into the month because those were kind of easy, like it's assigned to this month, I know I need to work on it this month. So I decided that for next year, I'm going to make my goals a lot easier. And I'm also basing my goals off of how many stitches I've done so far this year. So far this year, I have done 164,000 stitches, like roughly, because I have a couple charts that I stitched that were paper, and I don't know how many stitches I did on those. So I know that it's technically over 164,000 stitches, I just don't know exactly where it is. So I know that I want to keep my stitch goal for next year to be somewhere around that 160,000 number, because I know that that's what I was able to do this year, and I had a couple months this year where I didn't stitch that much, and so that gives me some room next year where if I stitch more, I could technically get more done. Or if I do have a couple months where I don't stitch as much, it's already kind of built in that I didn't stitch that much in, I think it was May, and then in like July-ish, I didn't stitch as much either. And so I have a spreadsheet. I will insert a picture of my spreadsheet. And I went through, and the first thing I did is I prioritized the charts that I want to finish next year. So any chart that I want to finish next year, I marked it in green. So they're all green. The charts that I want to finish next year are Kita, the Pokemon Switch chart from Glitch Stitch AU, Tonight We Ride by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and the Festive Pumpkin Cottage from Witchy Stitcher. I know that I want to finish all of those. So I took the amount of stitches that are remaining in those charts, because all of those charts are in Pattern Keeper, and I added all of that up. So I know how many stitches I need to do to finish those charts. And then from there, I went through and I looked at what charts I want to get finished in 2025. And so for Autumn Harmony, I don't plan on finishing her next year, but I want to do a large amount of stitches on her next year so that in 2025, I can hopefully get her finished. And so for Autumn Harmony, I marked her in orange, and any chart that I wanted to finish in 2025 and do a lot of stitching next year to get it finished in 2025, I marked those in orange. So for Autumn Harmony, I marked her in orange. The 12 Movie Nights of Christmas Stitch Along by Atomic Tiki Pins I put in orange. And I also want to do a lot of stitching on my chart Little Gamer, which is by Gecko Rouge, and so I also marked that in orange. And so then I kind of looked at how many stitches I had left to work with for everything else. So everything else that I don't plan on finishing either in 2024 or 2025, I marked those charts in gray. So those are all grayed out. They're not really priority pieces right now. I do want to try and stitch on them, and so what I did next is I figured out how many stitches I wanted to do on each of the orange charts. So Autumn Harmony, she has the most amount of stitches of all of my focus charts, and so I want to do 60,000 stitches on her next year. I decided that for the 12 Nights of Christmas Stitch Along, I want to try and do 3,000 stitches on that next year. And then for Little Gamer, I want to do 30,000 stitches on that chart next year. So I added up all those, you know, all the amount of stitches, and I figured out that I would have about 1,000 stitches that I could do on each of my other projects. And that would give me a stitch total for the year of 166,000 stitches total for my goals. And so what I'm planning on doing with all the charts that are in gray, because I realized I have 24 charts that are in gray right now, I'm going to put all of those into a WhipGo board, which if you don't know WhipGo, Jessie Marie does stuff. It's her thing that she started, and she has videos on her channel, so I'll link to her WhipGo videos on what, like, explain that more. But you have a board, it technically has 25 spaces. I have 24 charts to put on this board, so I am going to make my extra space a new start. So when that gets called, I will get to have a new start. And my goal for all of those charts that are on the WhipGo board is just 1,000 stitches. So that is a total of 24,000 stitches, or technically 25,000 stitches, that is going towards all of my grayed out charts. So that is my plan for next year. And then it also makes it easier because last year I had to pick when I was going to work on each chart for the month. I had to like assign at the beginning of the year, like this chart will be worked on this month. And this way it makes it so that I don't have to decide when these charts will be worked on. It will just be called for me. And then I know that each of those charts is just a basic 1,000 stitches, and then that chart will be done. And then I can really just focus on trying to get my finishes or trying to get my charts closer to a finish that I am focusing on. So that is my plan for next year. I hope that it didn't sound too complicated, but it's pretty simple because like I said, the green charts are finishes, the orange charts are ones that I want to get finished 2025, so I want to do a lot of stitching to get them prepared for the finish because, you know, they're bigger charts or I just don't have enough time to get them done next year. And then gray charts are just not focus pieces for now. And some of those gray charts, you know, in the next couple years, I'm hoping that like once Autumn Harmony is finished, I can pick another large chart and make that a focus piece. But I am realizing that, you know, there's just not enough stitching time to prioritize all of these large charts. Another thing that I want to say is that I have my, the Whip Go board is going to have a new start. I also have a rule for myself that the new start that I do, I want it to be under 100,000 stitches because I've realized looking at this that I have so many large charts at this point that once I finish my charts next year that are in green, like Tonight We Ride and stuff, I do not have very many charts that are smaller and can actually be finished within a year. So I really would like to do more smaller new starts so that I will have things in there that can still be finished within a year and also have my larger projects to work on. So that is the plans for next year. And I will be showing all those projects in my whip parade. So when I do my whip parade, I think I'm going to do it in sections. So like I'll start my whip parade with the things that I want to finish in 2024. And then I will show the projects that I will work on a lot next year, but try and get them finished in 2025. And then I will end the whip parade by showing the projects that are only going to get 1,000 stitches all together. And that way it will just be separated and I'll like clearly like section out which part of the video has which thing, just so it's easier, you know, to see. But yeah. So that is all that I have to show for this video. I'll be back tomorrow for day 6 and I will show the progress that I got on Sanctuary and everything else. So I hope everyone is doing good and I will see you all then. Thanks for watching. Bye!